Old Head Gaming here with the second volume of our Sloth Takes series, and last time we took a deep dive into January 2022 upcoming games. If you missed that breakdown, there is a description in the link below, and you can just hop over there and take a look at the January Sloth Takes edition. If you're enjoying this series or any of my content, please like and subscribe. It does help the channel greatly. If you have any thoughts or questions about the upcoming games, just drop them in the comments section below. Now let's preview the 4 games we're going to be focusing on. First is going to be the pushback from December, Dying Light 2, Stay Human. This will then be followed by the massive Sony exclusive, the follow-up Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, which will continue Aloy's journey. Third will be the kind of change of pace where we thought we were getting Saints Row 5, but we actually get a Saints Row reboot. And finally, we will wrap up with the Dead by Daylight-esque Evil Dead game. And now, without any further ado, Dying Light. And now we have the return to the parkour action, the long-awaited, anticipated sequel, Dying Light 2, Stay Human. The environment using vine swinging, wall hopping action that came out in January of 2015. Hard to believe it's been 7 years since the original journey for our protagonist Kyle Crane. But now it looks like his whole world has gone a little bit upside down since this time lapse. He's going to be facing a whole new slew of problems. And first of all, it's not just the volatile, which are going to be everywhere. It looks like the humans, of course doing human things, decided not to work together against the zombie outbreak, but decided to work against each other, and have now set up factions of humans who are trying to kill each other and maim each other and take each other's resources, because, well, why wouldn't they? You know, humans are not the brightest creatures in any video game or post-apocalyptic series, and apparently Kyle's going to have to straighten them out in this one. Now, this is clearly going with the canonical non-nuke ending. If you didn't play Dying Light 1, I'm not going to dig into it, but apparently the beautiful city of Haran is still here, it's still alive, it has not been nuked in existence, which also means you're infected, and I'm sure those powers are going to play into a lot of what we see in Dying Light 2. Now, the cool thing about this is the sandbox of Haran gives you so much to work with, and as you can see here, as you're jumping off stuff and parkouring and swinging and, you know, basically the ballet that is this game is something that made Dying Light 1 so much fun. And clearly Techland is back at it with what they're doing here. Interesting design of characters, interesting formats. You see the skulls and the spikes. Like, it's going to be an intense ride, and it's not just going to be as much volatile versus you. It's going to be you versus everything in the environment, and it's clear now that this game is going to be that much more intense, and you're going to have that much more options. Like, I feel like in 2015 when Dying Light dropped, it was a revolution in what environmental actions could be, whether it was just what you crafted, like this axe here, or, you know, that throwing stars, versus what you can actually do, bouncing off the walls, using everything at your disposal as part of the gameplay and the fighting. And that's what made Dying Light so unique, and I feel like Techland is taking what they had in Dying Light 1 and then taking it to the next level. And I can't be more excited for what they do with Kyle's story after this time skip. Now, normally I would go straight to how I normally do my order. We're going to do this one a little bit backwards because of some weirdness, and I'm going to explain that. So first of all, when it comes to the overall excitement star level, it's gonna be a 4.25 stars for me. Now, I'm very excited for Dying Light 2. I am absolutely gonna answer the second question. Will I be streaming on my channel? For sure. You will see Dying Light 2 just like you saw Dying Light 1. But here's where it gets a little bit weird. Did I pre-order? No. Would I have pre-ordered if it was still in December? Probably. It was a little bit of a lull in the gaming season, but now you're throwing it into a weird place, for me in particular. So you have 2 titles that are going to drop the week before. You have Elden Ring and Pokemon Arceus. Do I think I'm going to be through either of those games? Probably not. And that's going to leave that single player vein kind of closed off for me to play Dying Light. And then you're still going to have Halo, you're still going to have Avengers, probably they'll have some sort of content drop around the start of the year, and you're still going to have Dead by Daylight, which is just a mainstay in what I do. So between those 5 games, it's going to be really hard for a game that hasn't reached that 5-star that I need to play that the moment it drops scenario. And I haven't seen anything anywhere that's a pre-order bonus which says I need to stash stash that away for later, so when I finally start playing the game, I'll just pull it out of the backlog. So will I be getting to Dying Light? Absolutely, but it'll just be a little bit later than it was before. Final problem for me is the next game coming up is so close, and it's another strong single player game, which is just going to eat up more time without being able to eliminate the two prior. The second game we're going to dig into is Horizon Forbidden West. Aloy is back, the fantastic protagonist from Horizon Zero Dawn, played by my personal favorite voice actress, Ashley Birch. Now, Horizon Forbidden West is going to kind of pick up where we left off at the end of the Frozen North, which was the expansion to the 2017 Horizon Zero Dawn by Guerrilla Games. Now, they've been hard at work in this game for 4 years, which is actually a pretty good turnaround for a full AAA expansion. As you can see here, we got beautiful underwater sets, which is going to be a complete separation from where we've been. Most of the time when there was any water in other games, we just kind of traversed through it, and that was the end of it. Now you can see the beaches are going to play into it because we're going to a new area. It's going to be California-esque, might be the entire West Coast. We're not exactly sure, but as we see a tamed beast that Aloy is riding in on, she's looking ready for battle. You're going to see the rot is continuing to spread, and we're also going to see a lot of new creatures in this initial drop trailer. Now, they have released a playthrough trailer that was a Sony showcase, and if you want to see some of the combat that they've expanded upon, including staff upgrades and intermittent changes of arrows, you definitely can see that. Now, here we're going to see some of the new creatures or dinosaurs that are available. This looks like a giant snapping turtle. You're going to see some crocodiles coming up, and as I was going into earlier, they have added a underwater component, which is going to be, I think, very interesting for the exploration. You're using a breathalyzer, you just hop into the water, you just put the mask on. There's these crocodiles swimming around. Who knows what else is lurking in the water? And you're going to these massive underwater expansions that you're going to be able to look through, traverse through the caves, swim down, find what you need. And you're basically going to end up with a great finding of new stuff. One thing about Horizon Zero Dawn that was so good was how story-driven based it was, and finding out all those little nooks and crannies that you would then put into your earpiece so you could find out the history that was left behind for you. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of that in Horizon Forbidden West. We saw in the expansion The Frozen North. They kind of have a formula here. There's no reason to deviate for it. And we're going to see here that our classic villain for the last time. Now, if you didn't play Horizon Dawn, I'm not going to give you all of the details, so that way you can kind of catch up before February 18th when this game drops. Now, this is going to be a Sony PS4 and PS5 exclusive. Guerrilla Games is an in-house company. It's not going to be available on anything else. Will I be pre-ordering? Already have. Will I be streaming this? Absolutely, and on a level of 0 to 5 stars, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. The only thing that takes away is I wish it was a PS5 exclusive, just because they could then work on enhancing everything that makes this game even better, and it will be gimped a little bit by having it playable on the PlayStation 4, but I understood where they were in the development process, that they really wanted to give this game to the PlayStation 4 population as well, and I can understand that. It makes a lot more sense for me, actually, than what you see with what's going forward with God of War, but we'll get into that in a later video. So for me, Horizon is definitely a game that if you like story-driven, character-driven, adventure is what's going to make Aloy's journey that much more impactful this time. I feel like we're really going to dig into the story. There was so many, not loopholes, but there was left information trickled along that you could definitely pick up right where they left off in this game. I think it's going to be a fantastic journey. And if you're looking forward to seeing where Aloy goes, pick up your DualSense and join us on February 18th. In 2006, Volition launched one of my all-time favorite franchises, Saints Row, with their last game being Saints Row 4 in 2013. And during that time, we get to spend a ton of time in Stillwater, and then we moved over to the sister city of Steelport, and had to spend the time with an amazing cast and crew of ridiculous characters that got absurdly out of control by the time Saints Row 4 dropped, and then it just took it to the next level with the additional DLC, Gat Out of Hell. Now that's the last thing we've had from Volition in the Saints series, and in the end of 2020, and the beginning then followed up in the beginning of 2021, we got information that Saints Row 5 was coming. Not only was it coming, is they wanted to go back to the roots they had in the beginning of Saints Row series, and not be so over the top, which made sense that they were going to bring it back to basics. But this is just an odd twist. Matt's gone, Kinsey's gone, Pierce is gone, Shondi's gone. All these characters that we love, we got to spend all this time with over the last 15 years, seem to be replaced by a weird group of Fortnite rejects. I'm not sure what the plan is here. I'm not sure where they're going. Now, we do get to see, I guess it's a reference to Professor Genki with the helmet of the bike rider, but nothing here screams Saints Row to me. Like, nothing here feels like it should be Saints Row 5. And I was very excited for this game, but instead, this is just sad looking. I don't know what the plan was. I don't know what they were trying to achieve by this. Nothing here looks like a Saints game to me, and I have absolutely zero interest in. And this is coming from a person who spent the time to almost procure the platinum in the standalone game, which was like Saints Row adjacent and Agents of Mayhem. And Agents of Mayhem got absolutely destroyed by critics and Saints fans alike, and that looks so much more fun than this. Like, I don't know, they changed it to the American Southwest. We're no longer in any kind of location we know, so it's a whole new feel to it, and I really hope I'm wrong, but nothing here screams Saints to me. This is the first game, and I'm trying not to be mean, because I could have been a lot harsher for what this looks like, but I'm not going to pre-order it. Like, Saints Row for me was a game that, like, you just had to say Saints Row and then add a number, and you had my money. But, like, the villains look more Saints-like characters than the Saints do. We have a hodgepodge of action here. It's set in more of a casino, southwestish feel, maybe, like, it's very Santa Fe-esque. And it just looks not fun. Like, nothing about this trailer makes me want to go buy this game. I will not be streaming it. I hope I'm wrong and that when the game drops, we find out it's much more Saints-like than we see here. And maybe, you know, there's a reason why they're starting over completely. Maybe there's a tie-in to the previous. Maybe we see some of our old characters show up for story arcs. Maybe, I hope, something happens. Because right now, this game would be my first negative stars, but I just kind of felt that was mean. So I'm going to give it 0. 0 out of 5 excitement stars. I will not be going anywhere near this game. I do want to see what information drops, and hopefully it's something that makes me change my mind, but right now there's nothing here that makes me go, yes, Saints Row is back, I am in, give me that money. Unfortunately, that is not the case. There's just nothing here that I can remotely tie to a Saints game. Even Gat Out of Hell feels more like a Saints game than this. And that was just completely bonkers, and you took place in hell with Gat with angel wings. Like, come on. This is just absurd and very disappointing. And if you see all the responses that have been there since this trailer dropped, it's pretty much been on par, unfortunately, with a lot of I'm saying right here. Hopefully, I'm wrong. I really do hope I am, but I don't think I am. And unfortunately for me, Saints Row is the biggest miss of 2022 starting. And it'll be the one game I have 0 to do with. But for another game that got pushed back from October for a lot of good reasons and has me very interested, we're going to follow up with the next game here. And our final game of the month is a good friend to the channel. If you ever watch Old Head Gaming stream Dead by Daylight, you'll be very familiar with Ash. If you have not spent time with him on Evil Dead 1 or 2, Army of Darkness, or the Amazing Stars series, Ash vs. the Evil Dead. And of course, our buddy Ash is voiced by the great gift to the world, Bruce Campbell, who's been playing Ash now for over 40 years. 4 decades of Ash. That's freaking awesome. As you can see here, this is going to be a slash 'em, attack 'em, gut 'em up. It's going to be bloody, it's going to be gory, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's Kelly Maxwell, as well as Pablo, from the Ash vs. Evil Dead series, and they are actually going to be voiced by Dana De Lorenzo and Ray Santiago, their actor and actress from the series, which is going to make it really cool. You also saw Lord Arthur, who is from Army of Darkness, as one of the main protagonists. He was a bit of a dick, but, you know, he became Ash's friend after he learned the Deadites were real. And then we also, the final character is going to be Scotty from the Evil Dead series. Scotty had a rough run in both Evil Dead 1 and 2. Now, they did say there's going to be more characters added. They did say there's going to be on both sides. And we'll get to the character they announced at Summer Game Fest at the very end, because it was kind of the end of the trailer, so I don't want to spoil that yet. But basically, the plan is this: you go around, you find pieces of the Necronomicon, you cast a spell, Nectu Varata, and you send them back to hell. Now you can play as either side. You can be a hero of one of those 5 main characters right now, and possibly more, or as Ash said, you can be a dick, and you can be leading the summoned demons to try to slaughter your opponents and stop you from being sent back to hell. It's a really cool premise. It's worked well in games like Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight. So it's not uncommon for you to be in a 4 or 5 viewpoint scenario where the killer has a lot of power and you're a human. Now, these humans seem to have a lot more power than most of the games where they had to deal with a lot of passives or hopefully some skills that would make up. As you see Scotty just going to town there with a knife, Ash has got his boomstick as well as his chainsaw, and there's a lot of goodies you can pick up along the way. Now, you can also play as evil Ash. Look at him go to town, just destroying Scotty, and will be one of the playable killers, which is an awesome addition. Now, this game was supposed to drop in October of 2021, and as you see here in the Summer's Games Fest video, it said coming in 2021. But they ended up pushing it back to February. We haven't got a solid date yet, and the reason is because they're adding a single-player campaign component. Now, how long or how in-depth it is, we're not really sure, but it's still a cool factor that's getting out of the game as no additional cost, and just increase the excitement that much more. Now, for me, this is definitely a game I will pre-order based on what they see. If they announce an additional character or some really cool outfits, say like the S-Smart outfit, or something along those lines, I will probably pre-order just to get the free goodies. If not, I'll probably wait till launch day to purchase this game, but I will absolutely be streaming it. This is the type of game I stream a lot of. As everyone knows, Sloth by Daylight is a steady fixture on Sunday nights. We always do this. I do a lot of coverage on Dead by Daylight, and this game is right in my wheelhouse. For excitement level, it's a 4.5 out of 5, and it could have been a little bit higher if it was dropping this month, because I would be so ready for this type of game in October. But February is kind of a weird placement for it, but I'm okay with that. I love the fact that you get Ash back. I love the fact that Kelly and Pablo, all 3 of them, are going to be voiced by their main characters, and they promised a lot of additional surprises along the way, and I'm assuming with a game like this you will see a ton of DLC down the road, which will just add to the experience. Now, the final thing we're going to go over is what's coming next week. Well, Sloth Takes will have episode 3 will be focusing on March games. It's only going to be 2 so far because of the way the launch schedule has been. There could be more games. There's games like Forspoken and Kirby that could possibly slide into March but haven't been officially put there yet, so we're going to leave those. And we're also going to have an additional Sloth Takes video focusing on Dead by Daylight. And I don't want to spoil what's in there, but I was referenced in my previous video when I talked about the huge changes coming to Dead by Daylight. And we're going to talk about something that could possibly happen. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's complete conjecture on my part, but I'm okay with that. And hopefully you've had a good run and enjoy these games in the love month of February. Later, mates!